Methamphetamine is a very addictive stimulant drug, and unlike cocaine, it can be man-made. Cocaine is derived from a plant. Methamphetamine can be made domestically at we call the mom and pop labs, or small labs that produce normally less than 1 ounce of methamphetamine at a time. It's very easy. You can go to any convenience store and pick up a majority of the precursors needed to manufacture it in conjunction with pseudoephedrine, which is the primary precursor to manufacture methamphetamine. Methamphetamine is once again, it's a very addictive stimulant drug. It's high last 4 to 6 hours in comparison to a half hour to maybe an hour for cocaine. It costs the same. 1 gram runs anywhere from $80 to $100, which is the same as cocaine, but you're getting a lot higher high. It's a lot more intense. Once again, once that pleasurable experience is being experienced from the dopamine being released, these people are seeking that out, and they're constantly wanting to seek out that stimulant drug. Studies have shown after just single usage that people are addicted to it, and with less than a 6% success rate for rehab, you're looking at a very difficult drug as far as rehabilitation and getting people to avoid using it. Three labs, essentially. We have the red P lab, which involves the utilization of red phosphorus, iodine, and hydrogen peroxide. We don't get those that often, a matter of fact, and since being certified since 2001, I've only worked 2 in the northern portion of Indiana. That's not to say they're not there. They're very dangerous. They give off phosphine gas, and when you're dealing with iodized crystals, iodine crystals, I mean, those are very harmful. And red phosphorus, as I mentioned, is very incendiary. You have the Nazi birch method, which is the method which utilizes ephedrine, sodium or lithium metal, and hydrous ammonia, and that's how they manufacture that product. And as I just covered, the one-pot method, they're now just mixing that all together in a one reaction vessel. And I mean, this can be concealed. We're finding a lot of times they're in 20-ounce soda bottles. They can be concealed in a coat pocket. They can be mobile going down the road on a moped. They can be in their vehicle. They can be in a park. They can be in their garage manufacturing this product, and go essentially clandestine, meaning done in secrecy or without detection. They're making it very, very difficult for us to detect these labs. And that's what we're finding primarily. Matter of fact, currently in the far northern east or northeast corner of Indiana, where primarily 90% of our labs are currently the one-pot method. With users, we find a lot of times is excessive weight loss, an inability to be able to sleep days on end, easy agitation, paranoia, schizophrenia, inability to maintain a job, to function, to be productive within their household. We also find many of them have what we call meth mouth, deterioration of the enamel on the teeth. Essentially their teeth are rotting out of their mouth. We also find many of them have crank bugs or meth bugs. They'll have sores on their skin that they are constantly picking at, and on their face, arms, etc. Often become infected. We look for needle usage. They also inhale it through smoking and also through snorting. We look for those signs as well. Many of the people you can see, the thing about methamphetamine is it releases dopamine, which is a chemical in the brain which gives us a pleasuring experience. And what a lot of these people don't realize, even though the drug is telling them that what they're experiencing currently is a pleasurable experience, they could be living out of their vehicle. They could be living in a home that's filled with refuse, rotting food, and they don't know any better. Their brain's telling them that this is a pleasurable experience. So a lot of times what we see is someone who at one time was productive, had good personal hygiene, and now they're non-productive and they live in deplorable conditions. And that's what we look for. And I guess it depends on what one defines as death. I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, true meaning of death would be no longer living. But when you look at the change and deterioration of the quality of people's life, and when you talk to these family members who've seen their loved ones, who've seen their husbands, their sons, their daughters, even their parents addicted to this drug, and to see what their life is now, they've already lost that person. And as I said many times, they don't ever get them back. I see too many times the quality of people's lives, the quality of children's lives affected by these people not realizing how addictive this drug is and how much of a stimulant. And when they're using this drug, once again, dopamine is being released from the brain. They have no idea how bad things really are and how much they're affecting not only themselves but family and members of the community. As far as the prosecution, many times, many of the cases that by the time we're called, you're looking at a B or A felony. So some of these people could be getting up to 40 years when involved in a felony. We're seeing very stiff penalties. This is taken very seriously. I'm not going to say it's an epidemic proportion, but I can assure you more than 6% of the population is being affected by the usage of this drug, whether it be through increase in property crimes, abuse cases, the effects of the environment, the refuse being discarded alongside the roads and dumpsters, and those kind of things, and then the quality of life of the actual users. So we're at a point to where we have to take a serious approach to this, and Indiana is doing a lot, and we're taking a lot of proactive measures, and we still have an extremely uphill battle, but the war is on, and we're doing our best. Immediately contact your local law enforcement agency. Many of the officers in Indiana are trained and have been trained or attended training to which we provide through the state police on what to look for and to identify the hazards and dangers, and then they'll summon us who are certified to do an assessment and safe cleanup of those products. Many of these chemicals are not being used for their intended purposes, and as a result they could be very volatile. Exposure, whether it be inhalation or contact on the skin, carcinogenic, even explosive, incendiary. Those are things you have to look for. So do not touch or disturb it. Once again, contact your local law enforcement and they'll summon the appropriate authorities for proper cleanup. If the devil were to take a form of a drug, in my mind, from what I've seen in my experiences and the investigations and quality of life that's being deprived, this is the vehicle it's coming through, methamphetamine. And until we can get some stringent laws as far as sufedrin and ephedrine, and until we can educate people more to stay away from this, we're going to have several people whose quality of lives are going to be deteriorated and even lost due to this very stimulant, addictive drug.